There we go. Hello, everybody. It is Dee and Renee. It's been a bit, and I'm broadcasting here tonight from Palm Desert down in Southern California. It's only about 104 degrees outside, and Dee is coming to us from the hat. Dee, tell us what's going on in the hat.
I need to do the Fahrenheit translation. You're only 104. We're 18 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that, I have to figure it out.
30 is around 100. So you're probably around 60 degrees or something, 65. It's not warm out, I take it.
Well, except that it's a beautiful day for us for the fall. So it's actually, nice. Yeah, quite a nice day. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah.
Well, everybody, we hope that you have been doing okay during this very difficult time in the world. And, as we start heading into the holidays, Dee wanted to, talk about the Canadian Thanksgiving today. And if you haven't seen any of our recent postings, this show is heading into a whole food, low carb, low fat, moderate protein lifestyle. And remember, Dee is now selling her printed cookbook individually. So you can get on, and I will post the link to that. Her book is all whole food recipes, so proteins and just all kinds of things. Dee, talk about your cookbook for just a second.
Yeah, so the cookbook is a collection of main meals, soup, sides, appetizers, salads. They work in conjunction if you are doing a program where you are trying to actually lose weight. But the nice part about them is they transition into maintenance. So what I am trying to achieve for you is that you're going to eat yummy, healthy, whole food while you're losing your weight, and then still be able to enjoy those same recipes in maintenance. So our goal is to give you tips and ideas how to maybe transition those meals by adding some healthy fats, those types of things to them once you are done. But of course, even when you are doing losing macros, we still want you to eat as much whole food as possible. And so when I get requests for recipes, I get a lot of requests for whole food recipes. They don't want a lot of fancy ingredients. They want things that they can find in grocery stores. So we're going to really, really focus on this page on continuing with the low carb whole food recipes. And then if Renee has clients specific to her work, you can ask her questions. And then if I will continue to answer some other questions on the Dee's low carb page. You will still maybe find some more protein pack content on there, but we're not going to do any more protein pack content on this page. So this page is going to be designed for absolutely everybody. And if we happen to share something that would be a maintenance recipe versus a losing weight macro recipe, we will let you know.
Yeah, and there's like 150 recipes in the book, and just talk about the different categories of the recipes that are included in there.
So I wanted to touch on a little bit of everything. So there is chicken, fish, pork, beef, a little bit of vegetarian recipes also. I know that there are many of you that like to, even if you're not vegetarian, you do like to go light sometimes, maybe 1 to 2 days a week. So we're trying to include recipes like that. And as we move forward and we are continuing to share recipes, we're going to branch out a little bit more into that area. And of course, today we're going to talk about turkey. So turkey is something that I didn't include in the first collection, but I am definitely going to include that in our poultry section in this next collection that we're working on. So, and since Canadian Thanksgiving is so much earlier, we're going to start sharing now, and then we will share again in November.
Yeah. Okay, so if you are just getting on, tell us where you're from. We want to reconnect with all of the people that we have connected with in the past, all of our lovely clinics that support us and share the recipes, all of the people from North America and other places that join us online for the cooking show. We will be on every other week, starting with today, and going forward, we will be twice a month and doing the cooking show. So if you have certain kinds of recipes that you would like, let Dee know, put a note in the comments, give us a thumbs up, give us a couple of hearts, and share this out to all your family and friends, because we just got even bigger and more wider audience. We wanted to appeal to everyone, no matter what you were doing, and that was important to us. So Dee, I'm gonna pop up your first recipe, and I'm gonna pop myself down.
Okay. Oh, so earlier today I popped on and I did a quick little live to preview this evening's show. And these are Parmesan crisps, Parmesan chips, Parmesan wisps, whatever you would like to call them. So they're my take on the Costco Parmesan wisps. So what I was showing you today, and you can watch on the page, I basically showed you the full recipe. So we're just using whole real Parmesan cheese. We fine grade it. My trick is to use a citrus planer to get the cheese really nice and fine and fluffy. The 1 little ounce that you see in the picture there, and there's a little mountain of cheese behind it, makes about 20 Parmesan chips or crisps for you. You bake them at low temperature, 325 in the oven. After you make your nice little piles on parchment paper, you can season or spice them with anything that you wish, and it comes out with 9 grams of protein, 8 grams of fat, and 110 calories with absolutely no carbohydrates. So if you are on a weight reduction program that uses extreme low-fat macros and you're not allowed to have this, that's okay. It's a great maintenance recipe for those that are doing weight loss with different keto macros that allow a little bit of fats. Then you can work those into your macros. And if not, it's an excellent serving of healthy fat when you are in maintenance, maybe just doing more of a keto lifestyle. Absolutely no carbohydrates, and it would be an example of a healthy fat. And so sometimes clients get a little bit stuck when they think of fat and how they can incorporate it. And so this is a really easy, excellent way. Also, you can use it in a whole host of, you can make nachos out of it. You could use as salad croutons. So you don't just have to eat it as a chip, but when you have a snack attack, it's an awesome idea. In the live today, I showed almost the whole block of what the Parmesan cheese would come like, and that entire block was $18.95. I did buy it in Costco. It is the real Parmesan. Renee's gonna have to help me with this one. Reggiano. I never say it right.
Reggiano Parmigiana. My favorite Italian cheese.
Yeah. And so one of the really neat things about that, I'll revisit it, but so in this picture, you see 1 ounce. So, a bag of wisps is $10. For less than $20, you are going to make over 10 bags of those chips on your own. No preservatives, no other ingredients, 1 ingredient unless you're adding some spice to it. So it is an awesome way, a cost-effective way to get those healthy fats and in a tasty form as well. So, okay. So every Thanksgiving I talk about a turkey. I am going to post on our page how to roast a turkey again. I love traditional roast turkey. I don't like the air fryer version. I don't like I don't mind a smoked one, But anywho, once your turkey is roast, some of today's recipes focus on making the bone broth or stock out of your turkey bones. So this is what you see here. And then in a couple minutes, you're going to see a turkey noodle soup and a gravy also done out of this stock. And so once my turkey was roasted, in the pan the carcass went. Lots of times you'll see recipes that say don't include any meat, just bones. I put leftover meat and bones, whatever's hanging, and I threw all bones off there. So, or in there, sorry. Once again, if you are doing strict weight loss macros, make sure that you have all that skin, any fat picked off. If not, if you're in maintenance, a little bit's going to be fine. And then I actually roast these bones at low temperature all night before adding liquid in the morning, and then slowly simmering all the goodness out of those bones. And of course, herbs, spices, and then that's going to be the start of our turkey bone broth and soup base. So we're going to give you a few more recipes to go with that. So there is my turkey noodle soup. Many of you know I work with the Konjac noodles. They are my favorite brand. And also today I'm going to talk about the Konjac noodles in a powder form, sorry. It's an excellent thickener. So lots of times when you're doing low carb, we're staying away from flour. We're certainly staying away from gluten. We have a lot of gluten-free clients and they're looking for a thickener. So I'm going to pop up a product in a bit and show you. I have no affiliation with the products. I don't get any kickback or anything. I just want to make things really easy for you so you know what I'm talking about. So in the turkey noodle soup, that is our base broth that you just saw in the picture before. And how you can make a really fast, yummy bowl of turkey noodle soup is in a deep skillet or a deep saute pan. You can chop up desired amount of vegetables, a little bit of herb and spices, start sauteing them in a little bit of olive oil, add your cup of choice of konjac noodles, dry fry those up a little bit, and then ladle in your turkey broth. Season to taste as you go, and so your soup literally can be different every single time. So today you see chunks of rutabaga and orange pepper in there because that's what I had handy, fresh thyme, fresh parsley, and of course my broth was already spiced, which I'm going to give you some suggestions in the recipe, and that is how fast you can have a really hearty bowl of turkey noodle soup. Okay, so this is chicken marsala. This is my take on a very low carb one. If you wanted to carb it up, you can, but the recipe that I'm going to give you is super low carb. And I'm going to give you also a couple different options on how you can bread your chicken. So once again, if you are doing the really low macro diet and you have a type of protein powder, and I'm just going to use like plain pancake or potato puree as an example, you could bread it with that. If you are doing a low carb keto lifestyle, you could also use almond flour. So today on the picture that you see here, this is almond flour on the chicken as a coating. It works perfect and can be worked into maintenance macros. If you are nut free, then again, we'll revert to the protein powder. I'm going to put both of them in the ingredient list for you. If you do not cook with Marsala wine, and I'm going to be completely transparent, I don't do wine, I don't drink wine, and I don't cook with wine. It doesn't agree with my constitution at all. And so I made a mock wine out of 0 carb red wine vinegar and water, and actually a little bit of sugar-free fruit flavored water enhancer. And so most of you will have access to that idea on how you can do this to, I've kind of just made my own little wine vinegar. However, if you are
Hey guys, I guess Dee is she doesn't have Great internet all the time. So this recipe is chicken marsala. In the meantime, as she refreshes her screen, I thought I'd say hi to a couple of people. And Joelle, lovely, lovely, lovely to see you. And how have you been through all of this? Let us know what's going on with you. Thanks for showing up. Joelle is awesome. And yes, Dee's always got her crazy, her tree up all the time. So I love, Joelle, that you know you're telling us over 2 years and keeping her weight off. Joelle, let us know how many pounds you lost, and you know what you've been doing in maintenance. So keeping the weight off. What are macros? Oh, what macros should be for maintenance? You know what? Let's talk about that at the end of this at the end of this show. One of the things that we are going to be doing in this coming up, Dee and I are doing a Get Fit Challenge. It starts on October the 5th. And we will have a special Facebook group. It will be all whole food based. So a lot of these recipes, a lot of Dee's recipes will be a part of that group. I'm going to pop Dee up here. But Dee, before we start talking again, I was just saying hi to Joelle and a couple of people.
I lost you.
Julie says this is the first live that she's ever caught. Julie, we're here twice a month, and we're always talking about low carb lifestyle. Paige says she's catching us live from Illinois. She's lost 45 pounds and has obsessively listened to our show via Apple Podcasts. Love it, love it, love it.
Welcome,
we also have a YouTube. There's a YouTube channel out there with a lot of the shows from the past. So awesome, Joelle. Thanks for letting us know. 38 pounds. Woot woot. You know, so we all know that ultimately the goal is to maintain our weight, and you know that's what we're going to talk about. So at the end, Dee, Joelle wanted to find out what the macros are for maintenance, so that will be our ending subject. So I'm going to let you finish the chicken marsala.
Well, I don't know where we left off or where I lost you, but anyway, I'm going to post the recipe for you all, and when I post the recipe, we're going to go with the really like a low fat phase 1 losing weight version all the way to a maintenance version. So I'm not too sure where I lost everybody, but in this picture, what you see is my roasted rutabaga with some citrus and chives tossed at the end of its roasting. And it is roasted with a touch of cumin and nutmeg, and it's really, really simple and delicious. I chose to use rutabaga, but if you do not like the rutabaga, turnips will work just fine, and so would kohlrabi. So whatever suits your fancy. And it's a simple toss in oil, cumin, nutmeg, little bit of salt and pepper, roast, flip, and then you toss in fresh, orange zest and chives for the finish. It smells delightful, and that little tiny bit of citrus really, really gives a pop to your roasted veggies. So it's really yummy. Our Parmesan chips are pictured on the salad, and then our turkey stock, once again, is turned into a gravy, which can be really, really done simply. Now, I don't know how many of you enjoy traditional Thanksgiving cooking, gravy, those types of things. But when you're done roasting a bird, in the bottom of that pan is literally a slew of fat. And you can turn that into gravy, but it makes me a little bit gaggy now because it's just pure, it's just pure grease. And so I prefer to take the stock and then add my seasoning to it, and to thicken them, that's where I use the konjac root powder. Now, I know it's going to be different in the US and Canada, but you can buy it in powder form. And I mean, like I said before, I'm not giving brand plugs, but this is how I buy it in a container like this. A tiny bit of powder goes a very, very, very long way. It thickens up beautiful and nice. And so if you are doing a gravy or a stir fry where you're looking for that more traditional thickness to coat, you're going to start seeing this ingredient in a few of the recipes. And so I just want you to be familiar with it. You can get it in local health food stores, grocery stores, Amazon, places like that. And so it's the fiber. You do have to be careful you're not going to use it like flour or cornstarch. You don't need those types of amounts. It really expands. And you have to remember to drink water with it because it is fiber. So again, a little goes a long way, but it makes an awesome gravy. So I'm also going to give you another new turkey gravy recipe made from stock. And so traditional turkey, I'm going to also give you a recipe on just how to roast the breast. So if you are on your own or only cooking for a couple people and maybe you don't want the bother of doing a whole bird, then you can still make a stock with your leftover breast meat. It's still delicious. Or a small, maybe you're going to roast a chicken instead of a turkey or just a really small turkey. So if you have any questions about those types of meal prep, fire them in the comments there. And then over the next, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start putting all these recipes up and I'm going to share some traditional ones. But if you need some different ideas, and numbers of people that you're cooking for, let me know and I will help you. I will help you. And Joelle, I have to tell you, it's not my Christmas tree, sweetie. It is I just that is one of those lighted birch trees, and it just stays in that corner all year round. But I must confess, my tree, if you remember, Joelle, didn't come down until March this year. So when we were doing it, almost just stayed, and I was just going to start. I've seen people do themes. It almost just stayed, but yeah. So it's just a lighted birch tree, because this room has really poor lighting. So.
Oh, okay. So we will quickly address the macros. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to post about getting involved in the Get Fit Challenge. And really what it is it's called Get Fit in 30. Dee will be doing a couple of postings each week. Our fitness trainer, Megan, she will be doing a couple of things that you can do from home, a few workouts to cycle through, and of course, getting your cardio and all of that. I will be talking about nutrition, but Dee and I will also talk about macros and nutrition and all of this. So our journeys change along the way, and there's no one size fits all in the macros department, right, Dee? So I'll tell you how I do it, and then Dee, you can tell us how you do it. So when I'm working with a maintenance client that is going into a whole foods program, remember that a whole foods program is one ingredient foods. So that means an avocado, that means a rutabaga, that means, whatever it is, it means chicken. So staying completely away from all of these processed foods that cause inflammation and diabetes and just a lot of different things. So we're moving into that low carb lifestyle that you can permanently maintain for the rest of your life, and easy to eat out, easy to enjoy your lifestyle, barbecue, whatever it is. And I have been personally living that lifestyle for the past 25 years. Is it perfect? No, I'm not perfect. But it is the way to maintain your weight and to continue losing weight. And it's a much healthier version. So when I look at macros, I am in maintenance for myself. My macros are still really under 40 carbohydrates net per day. So what that means is carbohydrates minus fiber your ending number comes out to 40. So the first thing I have a client do is figure out their metabolic rate. So you can go out, you can look up a BMR, basal metabolic rate calculator online, fill it in, and it should tell you within a fair amount what your basal metabolic rate is. So mine personally is around 1,400 calories. And our BMR is based on the amount of lean mass, the amount of muscle we carry. So it's all going to be different for each and every one of us. So there's no one size fits all. Okay, set your food diary to 1,200 calories and do this, this, and this, right? I'm very insulin and carb sensitive. My family, my aunts, my grandma, everybody had either hypoglycemia or diabetes or some blood sugar related scenario, and so I have to be very careful. I'm not the lucky person that ever got to eat a burger bun. So I keep my macros at less than 40. And then basically what I choose to do, and Dee will give us her version, I pretty much balance the rest of my, if I'm at 1,200 and I'm only doing about 20% carbohydrates, then I balance the other 80% between healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, maybe 10 raw almonds or walnuts, but all healthy fats. And then I balance that with my lean protein. So everything lean. High fat is, we all saw what high fat did last year, and certainly caused a lot of gallbladder surgeries and removals. So can you tell us your thoughts in that area?
Yeah, I like, really important to stress, not one size fits all. When you are moving into your maintenance, if you were working in a program or with a coach, it's really important to know. Another piece of it is if they can tell you where your body fat has ended up. So are you in a healthy body fat range? Are you still in just the acceptable range? Are you still in the at-risk range? Because that all factors in on your insulin resistance, what you're going to be able to eat. So it's just not calories in. Lots of times, I know the world loves to talk in net carbs. I don't. I'm going to be really honest with you. I think that if you are still a very insulin resistant person, and you will know just by when you look at food and you gain weight, then you are still really insulin resistant. So I do like that 40 number, but you may be a client that you're not counting net carbs, you're counting total carbs to start. And as you go, because you're going to go slow. And that's just really the other piece. And then really knowing what servings of food are. So for me, nuts, even though they're a healthy fat, they're a trigger food, and they actually have quite a bit of carbohydrates in them. And so it's actually, a food group that I have to be really careful with, because for me, nuts are just like cookies or candy. I have a really hard time limiting to myself what an actual serving is. And then you always have to remember there are still carbohydrates attached to those, even though it's a healthy fat. It all counts. And another piece to it is that this is just proven over and over and over. It takes about a year for you to reset your new weight. So you also have to have a little patience with yourself. It's not going to be reset overnight. We have to keep practicing that muscle of self-control and being really true with ourselves on serving sizes. So as we go forward too, and you're going to see me adding some healthy fats, and I'm always going to talk about the serving size. So for example, today I showed you what 1 ounce of Parmesan cheese looked like and what you could do with it. That's an example of a serving. Another day I might choose an avocado, and I'm going to show you that about a quarter of an average avocado is a serving. Just so that you start recognizing what actual servings of foods and fats are in maintenance as well, if that makes a little bit sense.
No, I love that. I love that. know, along my journey, as you know, I've been 200 pounds 3 times in my life, and there was a lot of things I had to learn. I had to learn, number one, to stop doing this. And I had to, so in order to do that, I literally put my fork down in between every bite. Then I would pick it up. I would eat. Now, I am now the world's slowest eater. In fact, they make fun of me at the table. I don't care, because guess what? I don't overeat anymore. So, those are all those little mindful habits, and we'll be talking a lot about that in the get fit in 30 group. If you're interested in the get fit in 30 group, just put in give us a no. All right, just say get fit and make it simple. Joelle says, so if you aren't counting net carbs, Dee, what total carb would you suggest?
Well, so again, it depends on where you are in your maintenance journey. When you are just starting your maintenance, and if you are an extremely insulin resistant, client, I like 40 carbs. I don't minus the fiber.
40 is a good number.
Yeah, 40 is actually a great number. And why that was something that I was taught in my coaching education, but even moving on into maintenance and working with different clients and different body shapes, sizes, people also finish their journey in different places. So some finish really, really lean, some finish right kind of just in the middle of a healthy range. Others tap out as soon as they get really, really close. And so there's some really hard facts and truth about that. So if you tap out and you still have some, extra padding, some extra, we just have some extra fat stores, maintenance is going to be harder for you. Because if you start adding back in those carbohydrates, even if they come from healthy whole food, if you have the stores, your body isn't going to be able to use the energy from those foods. So it is really individual. And I'm not going to mince any words at any time with anybody about myself. So I'm not in a healthy range right now. I am above that. And so if I consume even healthy whole foods that are high in carbohydrate, they will stick to me like glue. So even if I'm doing a healthy whole food eating program, I have to be really, really mindful. And so that's where it's really important to recognize serving sizes and where carbs hide.
And by the way, Dee, 25 years later, I'm still the same way. Like if I get, I love homemade pasta. I love homemade bread. I really don't eat processed foods. I'm very careful with that. Just inflammation wise with my autoimmune and my thyroid and all of that, it turns me into an exhausted mess. Yeah. So I stay away from gluten. I stay away from wheat. I stay away from dairy. And those were hard things to learn to do. And I had to get really sick in order for me to figure that out. And yes, Joelle, you have a great point there. Fruits are a disaster for me, even one. Yes, exactly. What happens with fruit is like candy, and it's just like Dee talks about, yogurt. Once people go into maintenance, they are like, they start eating basically dessert for breakfast. Yeah. So Joelle's been maintaining for 18 months, but fluctuates a tad. Because she never got the macros right. And remember that all of these macros are very individualized. So again, we've got to wrap up our show here, but we will be talking further about all these subjects. If you want to deep dive in on October 5th, we start the Get Fit in 30. Typically 30 days is about 8 to 10 pounds. But we're going to be working with whole foods. We do have some super clean supplements and products. We're going to be talking about body detox and making really good choices, even if we are choosing, a meal replacement. So talking about a lot of different subjects. And Dee, as always, mwah, you have my heart.
So
I'm so happy that we are back in, the fall is reignited our low carb show. Dee and I were both extremely busy as we pivoted into a very different life. And
yeah.
I ended up moving to Southern California. I now coach virtually all over the United States. We ship. You can order right off of our website. You get a 30-minute meeting with me every week for the, eye to eye, and that's been working really good. I have to say, it's working better than when you can just say like, "Oh, I couldn't make it to the office this week," because you can't say that to me. You got to show up. But anyway, take care. Dee, do you have a few last words you'd like to say?
So if you're interested in that, in the Whole30, then with that's going to be a separate page than this page. So every 2 weeks, you're going to see our mugs on here again. And in between, you are going to see a lot more content from me. So I'm going to start doing a lot more low carb lives. I'm going to choose things during the week to talk about maybe different foods, different subjects, different questions that I have. So we're going to try to, in between the shows, address some of those questions and some of those food ideas that come through in between. And so then please, at any time, if you have something that you would like us to discuss or talk about or just touch base on, anytime, throw it in the comments. You can post the questions to the page, and yeah, we'll let's get rocking and rolling in as we come into October here and head into a super healthy winter season. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always like, what did I just do? There we go. Hey, you guys. Okay, that is the address to purchase the individual cookbook. So this is the printed version of Dee's Recipes Cookbook. Make sure you do that /retail. And they're about $25 with $5 shipping. So there it is. There it
where am
is.
I?
And it's,
So
my clients absolutely love it. And it goes into maintenance. So many great recipes, 150 recipes. All right. So thank you guys for showing up. And if you're watching in the replay, give us a #replay. If you want to get in the Get Fit group, just type in Get Fit. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Sounds great. Thanks, Renee.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.